coach each and every one of you. I asked Tanner to come up today. Tanner lost his eyesight. He's going to tell you a little bit about his role in becoming, how he was able to change himself after having an accident, and how he became a world-class athlete. So without further ado, let's give a big warm welcome. Tanner Gers.
Thank you so much for giving me your time. I know it's really important, as everybody's time is important. And like Doom was saying, I was in an auto accident in 2004. It was March. I was on my way home to my parents' house, and I like to drive my car fast. And unfortunately, I was driving a little too fast this day. And I was in a curve, and I lost control. And what happened was a tree came through my windshield and impaled me in the face. And immediately I had 2 3 for 2 7 compression fractures, broke every bone in my face except for my right cheek and my right optic. My skull was shattered, blown off a piece of my forehead, including my left eyeball. It was bad. My brain was exposed to the air. And I was very, very fortunate to be at the UNC hospital here in Tucson, Arizona, where the doctor saved my life. And they gave me some hope, so I went home with some hope. And the hope was that, Tanner, you're going to see again one day, and we'll see you at the next appointment. And I needed that hope because that's a long and tough day ahead of me. And so, as time went on, I realized that I wasn't going to see it again. And the doctor let me know, what, Tim, you're going to be blind the rest of your life. And with that information, I said, you know what, this is where I'm at, and I can move forward from here. At least I know what I'm dealing with. And it was tough dealing with that. And one day, when I was having one of those tough days, everybody's got bad days. My dad came home and he said, Tanner, what's wrong? What's wrong? What can I do to help? I said, Dad, you can't do anything. I'm blind. My life is tough. It's meaningless. You know what, Dad? My life is worthless. I'm helpless. My dad looked at me right in the face and he said, Tanner, that is not the attitude that you need to have. You could be blind and you could be in a wheelchair. As a matter of fact, you should be. You could be blind in a wheelchair, and mentally, you should be a vegetable. Tanner, you could be dead. Man, that was a slap in the face, right? I was thinking to myself, what am I doing? I've got other senses. I've got other abilities. I've got talent. I have a huge amount of potential. And it's up to me to grab hold of life by the potential and achieve that potential. There's a funny thing about potential, though, that it really means absolutely nothing without resiliency. You can't get up off your feet. You can't take the hits and keep moving forward. That wall's 10 feet high, 100 feet long. There's going to be hurdles. You got to get up, you got to get over, and you got to keep moving forward. And that's what I did with my life. I was very, very fortunate to find out about beat baseball for the blind in 2008. Started playing that, had a lot of success with it. And then one day a man told me, Tanner, have you ever thought about throwing the javelin? I said, no. Throw the javelin. And so I was like, I'll try it. I'll try it. So I started throwing the javelin, and it wasn't my digs. It hurt my back, and I just couldn't seem to throw it, 2,000 meters like I wanted to. And then it clicked. And I said, man, they let blind guys throw spears. What else can we do? And right then I decided, I'm going to be the fastest blind man in the world. Fastest blind man to walk the planet ever. And that's what I've been working on every single day. It's resiliency. Getting up in the morning, sometimes it's tough, right? You got to train. You got to prepare. You got to know everything that there is to know today. And it's important because the hay's in the barn, right? When you sit down at the table and you guys are negotiating those sales, that hay's already in the barn about building that rapport with the individual that's purchasing the vehicle. The hay's in the barn for me because I've been in the weight room. I've been on the field. I've pushed myself further than what I could the previous day. And that's important because all those little things add up, right? The sum is greater than, the total is greater than the sum of its parts. And that is true with every single aspect in life. It's no big deal to give a helping hand. It's no big deal to have a smile on your face. right? It's no big deal to push yourself every single day and do the right thing if you believe in yourself. When doubt starts to creep into your mind, you know, that you might as well stay at home, stay in bed. You got to believe in yourself. You got to keep moving forward. Everybody's going to have problems, but you got to push through it. You know, there's a story that motivates me, and you might have heard it once or twice before. And any time that I'm down, I got to remind myself, how bad do I want it? How bad do I want it? Understanding what my why is, why I get out of bed, why I continue to train day in and day out, why I'm eating the foods that I'm eating to maintain a single-digit body fat percentage. I'll tell you what, man, those shakes that Jim Click's talking about, yeah, those are good, but it's tough to eat that because I love eating burgers. I love eating enchiladas and all that stuff, but anyway, how bad do you want it? And there's this young man. He has this opportunity to meet this older man, this success guru, right? And he takes this opportunity to seize him. He runs up to him and he says, "Hey, I've been following you my entire life. I know everything that you've done. I know that everything that you touch, it almost seems to just turn to gold. You are so successful, you're making money, and I want to know exactly what you're doing. Can you please teach me how to be just like you? I want it so bad." The young man said, the old man said, "You want to learn how to be successful? I want it so bad. Then meet me tomorrow at the beach at 4 a.m. So the young man said, 4 a.m. That's kind of early. And the old man said, 4 a.m. at the beach, I'll see you there. So the next day, the young man's wearing his best suit, shows up to the beach, and the old man says, how bad do you want to be successful? The young man said, real bad. And he says, come on out with me to the water. So he takes him by the hand, and he walks him out into the water. Before he knows it, the water's up to his knee level. And he said, man, this old man's crazy. He's making money, but he's crazy. And the old man says, come on out a little bit further. Before he knows it, the water's up to his shoulder level. The young man is very upset. His best suit is ruined. He wants to learn how to be successful. He's not really knowing anything, except for he's out here in the water. It's freezing. It's 4 a.m. And it says to the old man, what do you have me out here in the water for? I'm not being successful out here. I'm not trying to learn how to swim. I'm trying to learn how to be successful. I want to be like you. The old man says, you got to keep going. You need to keep going. So the young man says whatever and keeps going. He takes a couple other steps. And then soon the water is up to his mouth. In fact, he has to look up to keep the water from going into his mouth. And he's pissed. And he tells the old man, he's like, that's it? You got me out here looking like a fool. My suit's ruined. I got to keep my head up to stay out of the water to keep from drowning. I'm going back. That's it. You're silly. And the old man said, man, I thought you wanted to be successful. And he says, I do, but you got me out here in the water. I'm not learning anything out here. He said, that's so funny because you were one step away from understanding success. There's nothing worse than being inches away from greatness. Inches away from success. Attaining that. And he says, I only got to take one more step. The old man says, yeah, you just got to turn around and keep going. And so the young man does it. He turns around and he goes to take that step. And right when he does so, the old man grabs him and he throws him down and he's holding him down under the water. The young man's kicking. Bubbles are coming up. He's scratching. He's fighting for his life. And right before he goes limp, the old man raises him up. The old man raises him up and he says, I got a question for you. The young man, he's shaking, he's shivering, he's in shock, his eyes are glazed over, he can't even talk. The old man says, I got a question. What do you want to do right now more than anything else? And he can't even come up with the words. He's panting so hard, he can't believe what's happening. And the old man says, as soon as you want to succeed, as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you become successful. As soon as you want to succeed, as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you become successful. And what that means is that when you become so focused, so obsessively focused, so committed to your dream, to your passion, what your why is, that's when you become successful. Where choices are automatic. Just like breathing. We don't have to think to breathe, we just do it. And when you become so focused and in such belief of what you're doing and why you're here today, that's when that's when you will become successful. So I think about that story, and it motivates me. And there's one last lesson that I recently learned that I want to share with you before I go, and that is that if you can take a room that's full of darkness, and I live it in all the time, right? I don't see lights, I don't see shadows. My optic nerve is dead. So my eye is okay, but I don't see anything. All I can see is what's in my head, what I visualize for myself, what my dreams are. And if you can take if you can take a room that's full of darkness, it's full of doubt, it's full of negativity, it's full of no, it's full of people telling you no, saying it's never been done like this before, you can't do it, it's impossible, you're unrealistic. It's so dark, it's thick, and you can feel it on your skin. It's heavy. And you turn on one light, one little light. All of a sudden, you have direction. You have a purpose, and you know where you're going. That's important. On the other hand, if you take a light that's full of positivity, it's glowing, it's full of belief. No matter how much darkness you put into this room, you will never, ever extinguish that light. And that's the greatest thing about being in belief of yourself and your vision and your goals. So if there's anything that you take away from what I'm talking about today, I want you guys to believe in yourself, to believe in your vision, know what your why is, and get up and go out and get what you're worth. Get what you're here to do today. The best that you can every day. The best that we can right now, because that's the only time we have. The best right now. When we're our best today, there's always going to be a better tomorrow. Thank you so much.